Okay, it's recording.
Why don't you put it a little bit closer so we get more, and push it that way a little bit more. There you go, good. Okay. Hi, Ellen. I'm Louise.
Hi, Ellen. I'm Rachel.
This is Rachel. This is my daughter. And this is Lilly, one of our two cats. And both Lilly and Rachel had hospital experiences, and I thought that you might appreciate hearing about them. So, Rachel, why don't we start with you?
Mm-hmm.
So you were only 2 years old, 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
And you started limping.
Mm-hmm.
And we took you to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said that you needed an x-ray, a special kind of x-ray called a bone scan.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the x-rays at all?
I don't remember very much, but I know from what you've told me that it was kind of a scary time.
Dad and I were really scared.
Mm-hmm.
We were really scared because they didn't know what was wrong. They said 2-year-olds don't. We said maybe you pulled a muscle or something. They said no, 2-year-olds don't pull muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So what they decided they needed to do was to put you in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought one thing it might be was a bone infection.
Mm.
But that means that you had to get antibiotics through an IV, and it had to be going pretty much all the time. So you had to have an IV in your arm. You had a port in your arm. They put this special needle in that had an opening that they could put the IV needle into. But you were very little and your veins would close, so they'd have to make a new port.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you saw the nurse come into the room, you'd just start crying.
Yeah.
And you were so little, it was really hard for us to explain what was wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
We worried about that, but we just kept trying to tell you that we loved you, you'd be okay. So you were in the hospital for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, after about a week, they did another bone scan, and they saw that your infection had gone away. So they were happy that it was working, and Dad and I were very happy that the doctors were so good at figuring out what was wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
But while you were in the hospital, you were really funny, and you made all the doctors and nurses laugh. So you liked to go down to a playroom that they had, but you had to take your IV pole with you. So you're a little 2.5-year-old, and you're pulling your IV pole behind you like it's a little wagon or something. And the other thing you used to do, you probably don't remember this, you used to crawl out of your crib. You'd climb out of your crib.
Yeah, and this was a problem before the hospital too, right?
Yeah,
yeah. I always climbed out of my crib when I was little.
And you were so little that when you climbed out of the crib, you were high enough that if you fell, you'd hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, they didn't want you climbing around doing stuff like that because you had the port in your arm. So they put this other kind of crib on top and made a kind of cage. And you stand up, and you thought it was really funny, and you'd sort of rattle the bars on your cage. It was really funny. So
let me out of here.
So that was good. And I remember there's probably something you do remember, because that was really, really awful. And that was that time they had to take a biopsy of your bone, and they couldn't give you anything to really keep it from hurting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I remember it or if I just have memories now because I've been told about it so much, but I do remember just being really scared by all the doctors, but just knowing that the doctors were trying to help me.
Yeah.
And knowing that you guys were trying to help me, and even though everything was really scary, just knew that everybody was there working to make me better.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is, that's really important. If you know that, then things can be less scary.
Yeah. Well, Ellen, you're older than Rachel was, so you can understand more. When Rachel was only 2.5, it was really
like a
hard
baby.
to explain to her what
little.
was going on. So we just kept trying to tell you that
kind of like Lilly.
Oh, Lilly, yeah. Well, now, so Lily's
Let's bring
story.
Lilly into this.
Okay. So Lilly was my sister's cat. And my sister couldn't keep her anymore, and so she came to live with me and with Joe, who's Rachel's father. And we took her to our vet. We already had a vet because we've got a dog, Tiggy, and another cat. And we took her to the vet, and the vet gave her some shots and looked her over. Hey, Lilly, Lily.
It's
Lily
okay.
puss.
She can do her thing.
And the vet looked her over, and he saw something he didn't like in her face. And he told us that he thought maybe she had a tumor.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to go to a special vet who specialized in, I guess all special vets would specialize. It was a special vet.
Special specialist.
It was a special vet who knew about cancer in cats. And she looked at Lily and she said, yes, that's cancer, that's a tumor. But she said, I'm pretty sure that if we do an operation and remove the tumor, that Lily's going to be just fine.
And now she's just fine.
Yeah. So Lily didn't, of course, know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we took her to the vet. And, they had to give her an anesthetic. And to do that, they had to shave different parts of her. They had to shave the part of her where they had to operate to take out the tumor. And they had to shave her paw so that she could get an IV with the medicine so that she didn't feel anything. And then she needed to be shaved somewhere else for some other reason. And when she came home, she she looked a little pathetic.
She looked a little sad.
Yeah, she had.
But
she's got all this fur, and so she looked really funny with all these bare patches.
I thought she looked kind of tough, kind of like I'm a cool cat now because I got all these like battle scars and stuff, and all the other cats are like, ooh, don't mess with her. She's like, she's cool, But now she's back to her like glorious, beautiful self.
Yeah, and we have to take her to the vet a little more often because the vet wants to check and make sure that the cancer has been completely cured, but it has been, and she seems to be just fine. And I don't think she remembers anything about her experience at the vet. She just doesn't like to go to the vet. You know how cats are. There's something about Rachel, Ellen, that I forgot to tell you, and that's what Rachel did when she grew up. Because now Rachel's all grown up. Why don't you tell Ellen what you do? What's your job?
I'm a musician.
She's not just a musician. She's a rock musician. She
I have
rock and roll.
Yep, I have a rock band called Antioquia, and we tour all over the country and we play shows, and that's what I do these days, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. There's and in between that I went to college and had like 5,000 majors while I was there, and now I play music, which I've always loved doing ever since I was your age.
Well, even though Camille is sleeping, I think Ellen might want to see Camille.
Yeah, I see Camille. Yep. We don't have to wake her up, we can just...
Maybe she'll talk.
There's Camille.
Camille? Camille? Hey, Camille.
Camille, who's your favorite dictator? Who's your favorite dictator? Mao. Mao. Interesting choice, Camille. Interesting choice.
Camille's a very talkative cat, aren't you?
So, Ellen, I think we're probably boring you at this point. We're just going to say, get better. We're thinking about you. And just, hang in there. Just be strong and just know that everyone's really rooting for you and trying to help you get better as quickly as possible. And good luck, girl. You can do it.
Bye, Ellen.
Bye.